God is love, and his DNA is love. And so what we are teaching our children is to live the life in love. By this, men know we are his disciples when we have love for one another. We also have another DNA, and that's another part of what I'd like to encourage us in. We have the DNA of our parents and of our grandparents. DNA is like a code, I believe, is probably an easy way to put it. A code that we all have in us that shows where we came from. So we have the DNA from our mother, from our father, from our grandfathers, from our grandmothers. And so today that we honor mothers, I've had my mother and the mothers in my life, I've had them on my mind. My mother passed away in 2011. Her name is Ayodele, and she loved to help people. She loved to help people. So sometimes when I catch myself thinking along that line, I believe it's my mother's DNA. I also remember my grandmother, my paternal grandmother, Chief Mrs. Bibi Shoyode. We called her Auntie. She was my grandmother. I called her Auntie. Her great-grandchildren, my children, they called her Auntie. Auntie was colorful. Auntie was beautiful. And Auntie lived. She taught me to live. Auntie taught me to be me. Auntie was strong and courageous. And she was proud to be herself. And sometimes when I stand alone, sometimes when I dare to do things that people may wonder at, I believe that's Auntie's DNA. Auntie wasn't Nigerian. She was Ghanaian, the grandmother. Auntie was something else. Auntie taught me how to crochet. And for many, many years, we'll sit together and share patterns and crochet until she passed away. And so this morning I decided that I was going to wear my crochet. And so I made what they call granny squares. These are little crochet squares that you add together. And I made 100 granny squares. And that is this buba I am wearing. This is my grandmother's DNA. Not only to do it, but also to wear it. I remember she would wear my grandfather's clothes and put on sunglasses and just dance and just live. And I believe a mother's joy. On the balcony of heaven today, Auntie's probably looking down and saying, yes, yes, that's my child. I have a great-grandmother. She was Yala Dura. She was one of those who accepted Christ the first in her village. And in those days, she spoke in tongues. Even then, she didn't take medication. And I remember going to her home. They would always ring the bell for prayer. There's another great-grandma, Mrs. Kikelomo Shoyode. She died in 1961, so I didn't meet her. And she was called Iya Laro. Aro means dye. Aro Dudu means black dye. So what she did, my great-grandmother, she did tie and dye. And so I thought, between Iya Laro and Auntie, they would dress me for church this morning. Because this is who I am. And this special tie and dye I got from my auntie, Iya Laro's granddaughter. I'm a great-granddaughter. And she tells me it's very special because of these lines. That these lines are called alabere, and they're unusual. It's not my area. Crochet is my area. Why am I sharing all this? Because you also are mother, your grandmother, not only to your children, but to all who are around you. There's some boys under the bridge many years ago, and these boys called me Mama. They were my children. They were dirty. They were rough. But by the time love stepped in, the love of Christ, they were more honest than the people in church. And they changed. They changed so drastically. And so there are many children that belong to you as well that are waiting for you. So even if you're no longer here, even when you're gone, lessons are still being learned. Messages are still being passed from you to others. And this is my prayer for you, that you'll be a woman of impact. You will see your children's children. You'll see your children's children's children in good health in the mighty name of Jesus.